Comics issue 29. We're back once again at Limited Edition Comics with a great range, as always.
As always.
And I'm here once again with the man.
Hello, people of the internet.
The man who can be really shit at talking about comics, Zach.
I learnt from the best.
Yes. What do we got? What do we got this week? What do you got for us?
Well, we've got graphic novels and single issues.
Graphic novels
make a change.
So we're doubling up here, aren't we? We're doubling up from our normal into single issues as well. We've actually had a little bit of demand for the single issues, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and I don't read graphic novels, which has been really obvious in the last sort of few weeks.
It's been me telling you, yes, this is what happens in them all.
I'm just here to smile and nod.
I feel like
I'm the eye candy.
I feel like you've had history lessons.
Yeah.
History of Comics 101. Do you want to start, shall I?
We'll mix it up. You go first.
I'll go first. Okay, so I'm going to start with Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which is after the Ultimates run. They're good Ultimates. They restarted, they rebooted, and they've got now this Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates. Okay, it's quite confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, the Ultimates.
The Ultimate Ultimates. And, well, this is a Jonathan Hickman's run.
Already? I can't fault you yet.
You can't fault me yet,
Hickman.
yes. And it's kind of a weird story. So let me break this story down.
It's Hickman.
It's Hickman. So it's going to be a weird story. It's about Reed Richards, which is not what you expect it. And it's a bit of a spoiler alert, but it is actually about Reed Richards. Reed Richards has gone bad.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, it's quite a spoiler.
Any particular reason?
Well, no, you don't find out in this book. So you just know that he's gone bad. His family seems to have all been murked, and he's pretty peed. And he's gone to the negative zone and come back, and it all went wrong, basically. Right. He seems to have managed to recreated the perfect society, if you like. He's generated these new, perfectly genetically modified humans, and he's come back to Earth, and he just wants to rewrite the way the world is.
Okay, so Reed Richards on a power trip.
Yes, it is Reed Richards on a power trip. And the first person to taste the pain is Thor.
Oh, really?
And they started with the god, and I think they started with the most powerful person because they wanted you to know how hardcore Reed Richards has got. And he made the rest of the Avengers look like a pile of wimps, basically.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, Iron Man, at one point, he was just like, you want to go? You want to go? Because you're going to get killed. So, don't bother. That's what it was
You've got to compare it.
To what? To the original?
To the original Ultimates.
That's hard. It's not as good as the original Ultimates.
Okay. I didn't think.
I think Mark Millar did something special when he wrote the original Ultimates, and I also like Brian Hitch's artwork in that as well.
Yeah,
so I think that it was going to be hard for him to get away with something. But Hickman is probably in my top 5 best upcoming writers, or he's not upcoming because he's been around for a while. He's there, but what I'm saying is that he's become more predominant within the comic book industry than he's ever been before. Yeah. And now I'm going back and reading everything else he's ever done because he's just so good.
Better than Ultimates 3.
That doesn't take much.
Without a doubt.
I think I could dump something onto a page and it would be better than Ultimates 3.
However, saying that, Jeff Loeb.
Yes.
Nova.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
I actually refused to read it.
Right.
For the first 2 issues, everyone was telling me it was amazing, it's fantastic. I couldn't do it because of my dislike of Jeff Loeb. I just couldn't bring myself to.
And the fact that it doesn't have Richard Rider in there as well.
I'm a bit noob.
You're a bit noob with Nova.
Doesn't bother me,
okay.
No.
Did you not read the Thanos Imperative?
No.
No. So you don't care that Richard Rider died, and so did Star-Lord. But Star-Lord has come back, so he's fine. He's come back from the dead. But Richard Rider hasn't. Why? Why? Does anyone want to give us a reason? Please? Please?
It was that thing that you kept recommending it, so I didn't read it.
Yeah. Okay,
it was that classic scenario.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But Jeff Loeb done a good job.
Done a very good job. He set it up perfectly.
And it's not on Batman. So that's actually quite something special, because that doesn't happen very often.
I can't actually think of one I've liked apart from his Batman stuff.
Yes. See, that's the same as me, really. So.
Completely.
So.
But honestly, Nova's fantastic. It's a bit that teen angst.
Yes.
But, being a teenager. I can get away with a bit of teen angst.
Do you feel like it was a bit similar to Invincible in that respect, or?
It's got a bit of Invincible, it's got a bit of that sort of, Ultimate Spider-Man vibe.
Right.
But it builds up brilliantly, you know it's going to be big. You know it's going to be big part
And
of
you know what the good news is? You know what we said? Did you hear last week's show? Jeff Loeb's gone.
Yeah, I know, he leaves in a couple of issues as well, so you know it's going to get better.
Issue 5. If you didn't check last week's episode. We talk all about it.
Yep, Zeb Wells.
Zeb Wells is now,
Yeah.
Oh well.
Next one.
He's very good at starting things, so
it's finishing.
It's finishing.
Like Mark Miller, for that instance. Todd, the ugliest kid on earth, which I
didn't get a chance to talk about
the other week, did I?
No, you didn't. No.
I love Todd. I think Todd is one of the best independent books that has come out in ages.
Right.
It's about this kid, Todd, who is the loveliest little boy. He's the loveliest little kid you'll ever meet, but everybody hates him. He's forced to wear a paper bag over his head, and he gets in all sorts of trouble.
Right.
He gets framed for being a mass murderer.
Right.
And he's just this sweet little boy.
Or because he's ugly.
Well, he gives a toy to this girl.
Is he actually ugly? Is he actually ugly?
We don't know. We haven't seen under the bag.
So no one knows. There could be nothing wrong with him. He might just like wearing a bag.
You don't think there is?
Right.
You don't think there's anything wrong with him. You just think he's a nice.
How many issues are there of this?
We're on issue 4, and it was supposed to only be a 4-parter, but it's now ongoing.
Ah, because of the popularity.
Because of how good it is.
Ah, of course. And that's what you want, really.
But yeah, it's one of the funniest, most fantastic.
And that's what Image is like, isn't it? They'll do like they'll announce 6 issues, right? So that because they don't know whether something's going to be successful or not, and then if it's successful, they'll come back to the original creators and say, "Look, we're making a crap load of money. Make more, please." And that's been one of the biggest success stories lately for Image, hasn't it?
Honestly,
I
look forward to reading this more than any other book.
I'm actually going to read it because of your recommendation. Okay, I know that's a dangerous thing to do, but we have to trust him once in a while, not by choice. Are we going to move on?
Yep. Go
okay, I've got a double book here. It's not.
That'd be 2 books.
It is 2 books. It's 2 separate books, but they're very heavily related. One's called Kraven's Last Hunt, which actually weirdly came before Kraven's First Hunt, which is a reverse order, right? Kraven's Last Hunt was DeMatteis, who wrote probably one of the greatest Spider-Man stories I've ever read, okay? It has everything in it. It is one of them. It is one of them, right? Kraven stalks him. I love all these stalking stories, you see. I really like Born Again, you see, from Daredevil. I like the fact that they stalk the character and you see the dread of and the impact it has on him, and it just I don't know, it's kind of it creates a mood. You know, when a comic creates a mood, when a graphic novel creates a mood while you're reading it, and if it does a good enough job, you just sink into the story almost, right? And I think that this book is one of the greatest stories told for Spider-Man. It really is. And as I was saying, it's about Kraven, who stalks Spider-Man and treats him like he's his prey, kind of Predator style, and decides that he's going to take him out. And Spider-Man's, in a lot of trouble, struggling to get away or survive the stalking nature that is Kraven. This book is very heavily related and came many comics later.
Is it like a prequel?
It is. No, it's not. No,
not a prequel.
No, and actually, it is a sequel because the interesting thing here is this Kraven's First Hunt is not the original Kraven. It's Kraven's wife and daughter, and that's a big spoiler. I'm sorry, I had to spoil it. It's not really because it's been out for ages. It's an old book.
I gotta say, it does sound like a bit of a cop out. It does a little bit.
Do you know what? It wasn't. I don't know. There's another story in here that's not related, written by Dan Slott, and then it goes over to a different guy who writes it goes over to a different guy who writes the rest of the story, and I think it's Guggenheim actually. I can't remember, but I think it's Guggenheim, and he does a really good job of recreating that feeling that you get when you read Kraven's Last Hunt for a modern audience, right? Because this is an old book, but this is like a reproduction, and it's got Daredevil in it. Daredevil and Spider-Man getting hunted, and I love that. I love that.
I'm not sure the shouting it's got Daredevil is the biggest selling point ever.
Well, I'm sorry, I love Daredevil. I think he's a great character. I think he's totally underrated. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because I've got some weird fascination with a blind guy. I'm saying that because the guy actually has been written brilliantly by so many people.
I do completely agree.
Right,
I actually have Silver Rose Daredevil.
Oh, you do?
That is my collection.
Well, there you go. I mean, and Frank Miller's written him, and it was just incredible. And then there's been loads of people that have come after and done superb jobs, right? And I just think that Daredevil and Spider-Man are just great partners in crime. You know, when those guys are in a book together, I'm on it straight away. I think that they just match up really nicely. And one of the things that actually happens is that they swap their weapons.
Yeah?
Yes. Which I think's quite cool. I think that's quite cool. That's, you know, my geek side coming out, my little geeky side. I turned to a 5.
Your little geeky.
You know when you're 5 years old.
What you're doing.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. When you're 5 years old and you're reading comics and you're thinking, oh, I wish, you know, I don't know, Spider-Man had Thor's hammer and he just went around and was God for a day, you know what I mean? Or I don't know, like any of the other characters stole the other weapons from the other characters and used them. I just always liked that idea, and it was very cool. It was very cool. And to be honest with you, the beginning of this run after Brand New Day, after the Straczynski run, Slott came in, and I wasn't a massive fan of those original books. I like what Dan Slott's done now, obviously.
Yeah,
but
I did exactly the same.
back in the day, I wasn't a massive fan of what he was doing to start with. And, you know, it's fine because he was just building into the character and it takes time. So there you go. If you get a chance, read both of these, especially this one. This is good as well. Okay? Your turn.
Oh, we're not done.
We're not. Well, I don't know. Have you got that? Is that it?
Sort of.
It's right. It's right. Okay, look, you know, guys, thank you so much for watching me and this one, Zach. Anything you'd like to say to our wonderful audience who come and tune in, especially for me?
Yeah. Thank you so much
for me.
Thank you so much for coming every week and putting up with him. I mean, I have to do it for real, and I wouldn't do it voluntarily. So thank you.
Paid. Well, guys, check us back next week. We're back again for issue 30 of Talking Comics, and thanks again to Limited Edition Comics for having us. Catch you later.